Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Good day.
Good day, and thank you for taking part in this little adventure in consciousness.
It's definitely fun.
It certainly is, and we want to thank everybody that's supporting us over on Patreon. Couldn't do it without you guys. Again, you can actually watch from Patreon too, as it does get every single video that goes up, and it does get exclusives about every third day.
Right. I think on Patreon though, we the only difference is we don't have them set up in like different rows, right?
Playlists, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Playlists are easier to find over on YT. So, looking at space weather, because we notice that it seems lately, even when we get around the KP of 5, a lot of our family members can feel it. And so we're back up just below 5 again on the KP, a minor geomagnetic storm. We are entering a more active period with the sun, and so we'll keep an eye on that. The sun is what's really bringing so much change to the world and consciousness. Oh gosh, here we go again. Here we go again. This is new. A possessed, quote-unquote, woman starts screaming and climbing over seats on a Frontier Airlines flight, claiming she was kidnapped. After the situation briefly calmed down, one woman got up and declared that the woman was possessed and started singing gospel music. "Stop blocking me. I've been bleeping kidnapped," said the crazy woman as she screamed as she hit an employee. The flight was leaving Houston for Denver, but had to be diverted to Dallas. One woman on the flight said it was diverted to get the crazy woman off, the gospel singer off, and the man with the white hat off. What is going on in this world? As we can see here, for you guys, let's play it. Well, now we better not play it because of the bleeps. So there's more information over here too, and this is from 100%fedup.com. In case you haven't ever been there, what's going on? Why are so many people having complete meltdowns on airplanes and in airports especially? What really is going on? As we can see this one, and here you see the person is obviously looking pretty distressed. What's really going on? Is there some sort of cognitive issues of a new order that are coming into being? Is it just simply some sort of psyop? Are these role players? Are these people that are literally just actors doing this to create angst and anxiety? What's really going on here? Or are people really just going crazy because of frequencies all around us? It's just wild. So multiple women allegedly interrupted a recent flight with screaming, singing, and even crawling over seats, causing claims of demonic possession. This flight was from Houston, Texas to Denver, Colorado, delayed by 3 hours, including a stop in Dallas, Texas, after multiple women interrupted the flight stemming from the one woman's apprehension. So, this isn't the first time. You guys remember the Tiffany Gomes, I think that was her name, episode? And then she came out publicly, and she didn't even look like her. She really, really didn't. You could transform, and she might have been traveling as an actual person. Now, all of a sudden, well, this is my opportunity to become an actress. Yeah. Or maybe she was an actress the whole time. What's really going on? In case you missed this, off-duty pilot attempts to shut down plane engine, facing 83 counts of attempted murder. An off-duty Alaskan Airlines pilot was apprehended after attempting to shut down an airplane engine mid-flight. He faces up to 83 counts of felony attempted murder. The off-duty pilot was sitting in the jump seat up in the cockpit, resulting in a severe risk to the safety of the entire plane. Luckily, the suspect was subdued, and the plane could land safely in Portland. Is this a case of somehow possession? Is this a case of technology? Is this a case of Let's say something along the lines of, there's these letters that come out with some certain psi programs, like MK dot 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 UL dot 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 TRA. Is this some of what's going on here? Are people just simply going crazy? Or are they having circulatory issues? Because we know a lot of people in this world, in fact, we might have half the world or more that might not be in ideal health. As this one seems to have started this craze, and again, I mean, she feels like a Fed. She really feels like a Fed. What can you say? That's the vibe that we get.
And if I remember correctly, I think somebody somehow did a trace route with her, and they did trace her back to like the Pentagon, but I don't know. I don't think I could pull up that clip anymore. It's probably gone. But several things are coming to me, like everything Mike said, check, 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 check. But the one thing, really the overarching thing, is these are happening on planes. And if you were going to do a psychological experiment with directed frequencies, I mean, a plane would be a perfect opportunity, because everybody is stuck in this hole and they can't get out, and they're in assigned seats. So if you were going to zap a frequency towards someone, you would know exactly who you were zapping it to, because they know where people are in their seats, So to me, yeah, it's most definitely one of those ops that they are doing their testing. The other thing, is to get people, I feel, is to get people very, very paranoid of one another, get people fighting, get people snickering, get people like really checking each other out in like a paranoid way. So this really concerns me. I mean, all of it concerns me. And the other thing that concerns me is, would this not be the perfect opportunity to slip something under the seat that would go boom? I'm kind of afraid to say the words, because we always get flagged anyway, but I don't want to make it worse. A lot of things are coming to me with this, and all of it's just really boils down to mindfulness. I saw one comment on there: is this edible gone wrong? It very well could have been. And if they are zapping somebody who's on an edible, yeah, they're going to like overflow and blow up, and things are not going to go well. I think we just really need to watch our P's and Q's when we're out in public, and make sure you're not altered in any way if you're going to go on any flights, any traveling, because I see that this is deliberate disturbance. That's what I see.
It's again a means to an end, and you have to recognize what the end is, and it's a totally different world. It's a completely different world from what we are used to. And we shared with you, I guess it's been at least a year now since we got the information looking forward to the year 2035. And what does it look like? Well, in 2035, we see the smart cities that are literally being run at the very top by giants. And these are the giants of old, per se. These are the ones that we would call, some people would call them fallen angels. They are physical. Some would call them Nephilim. Some would call them the Anunnaki. And they are literally here, out in the open, out in the open for people to see. There's not a lot of them, but they've taken over, and they are actually running the show for those that are staying in the system. And this is kind of a step in that direction. They want us to get used to the idea of non-terrestrials being with us and amongst us. They're going to shut down human travel on airplanes. That won't exist anymore, because they got to keep them herded into their pens, which are those 15-minute cell smart cities. And then they also have this concept that we get through gaming, that there are NPCs, non-playing characters, and again, I haven't played since the days of Tetris, so I'm not a gamer at all, not in the least, because Again, there's so much programming that goes on. There's so many subliminals. As much as it would be fun to get lost in a game, I wouldn't expose my mind to what's in the game. And like we don't watch quote unquote scary movies anymore. We can't even tolerate any acting anymore because it all seems so ridiculous, really. And I think that's part of the separation that's going on. Even shows that maybe we were watching 2 years ago. Oh, hey, you know what? They did a new season of this. Let's get lost in some mindless entertainment, and we find that we can't even tolerate it. We can't even go back to it from like 2 years ago. It's all part of the splitting of energies, and I saw that with a comment from a regular. I think it was Sylvia that said something like, "I'm having a hard time tolerating people." Well, yeah, there's going to be this split into those that are going to stay in the system. There's the blue pill people and there's the red pill people, and a lot of the red pill people, well, a lot of the blue pill people think they've taken the red pill, but they haven't really. They're still in the illusion, and it's uncomfortable to have more and more of this illusion exposed to us. This is where we're heading. And so, again, there are orchestrators behind the scenes that are, it's just like an orchestra. Okay, cue the violins now. Okay, now we need something a little different, a little drama here, a little expose there. It is in the Bible. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. The distortion is, of course, that often when they're talking about angels and demons, they're talking about extraterrestrials and interdimensional beings. Yes, there are both extraterrestrials and interdimensional beings, and there are those that are demonic and there are those that have angelic tendencies. There's all of the above. It's not an exclusive thing as far as that goes. And you have had so many people already come forward with disclosure because the system wants to give disclosure. As this particular article is talking about David Jacobs, who's 78 years old and was one of the top UFO experts out there. There's so many that have come forward from government, from the feds, from different positions around the world, either inside secret ops or in the political arena, and have said definitively we're not alone. And actually when you go again, look at translations of the actual words used in the Bible, you'll see that the original intention is not what most people believe now. Most people believe something other than the original usage of the word in the Bible, and they don't have a clue. But it's the way the vernacular changes over time. As I've used that analogy, we wouldn't be able to understand somebody that was speaking English 400 or 500 years ago. You wouldn't have a clue what they were talking about. And in fact, if you talk to somebody from maybe the South, you get somebody else from up in Maine, and you get somebody from Scotland, they might have a hard time communicating in some ways. They might sound, and it's even the same in Spanish too. You'll have different dialects that will not necessarily lend itself to a smooth conversation and understanding, as words can often have more than one meaning. There's the big one. Yes, words can often have more than one meaning. But aliens among us is a reality. They've been walking amongst us the whole time. There's many different ones that are walking amongst us now. Shapeshifters. Not just shapeshifters, but there's also those that are just simply hiding behind masks.
And I think what we need to do is just be very careful with one another, that we don't fall into a position where there's a burn the witch thing and, point at someone and just, have an idea that they're weird and freak out. It is a really crazy world out there. And some people, at least I'm one of them, it would be so difficult for me to travel these days because I'm very susceptible to the energies. With the energy work that I do, Mike and I both, we have become so extremely sensitive. If we are around someone who has problems, say they have a bad hip or they have a bad headache, I mean, we're going to start feeling those things. So if you could imagine energy workers going into an airport or into an airplane, it would be very, very difficult, painful, and stressful. But there's still a lot of people out there who are traveling. And we were talking to one of our very beautiful family members yesterday. And if she has friends that are traveling, here, traveling there, just having a good time. And it's like, why am I not doing it? And it's because many of us have chosen a different path. And if we were to try to travel, it wouldn't go very well because we are so sensitive. And this is a separation of energy. So it's like we've already put ourselves down this other track, and it's what we have chose. So, and it is it's something when we're out traveling and when we're out around other people, that sensitivity. You are such a bright beaming light. I can almost guarantee you that if someone has an attachment, that attachment is going to see you detach from what it has and go make itself a meal out of you because of your light, because of your energy. Your emotions are stronger, and this is what happens during the separation of energies. This is what happens during an awakening. Our emotions become amplified. If there's traumas that we have, those become amplified. And Source has a way of bringing, when you're waking up and your light body is being turned on, the Source of all has a way, Kundalini has a way of bringing those things that are very difficult for you to deal with and then putting them right in front of you. So that can be extremely painful. So what we're supposed to do now during this time is we really should be focused on ourselves. We should have so much focus on ourselves. We're not even really looking and worrying about anyone else because we need to heal. The only way we're going to get out of this and through this together is if we all focus on ourselves, because that's what we need to do to help anyone else anyhow. You need to be strong. You need to be centered. You need to be grounded. And it takes effort to do that. And if this is the lifestyle that you've chosen, I mean, I think it's the responsible thing to do because of your sensitive nature. You need to be strong, grounded, and always working on yourself, because you are a light for so many. You might not even know it, but you are. Your light shines for so many. And a lot of people are very, very confused. A lot of people are frightened. And, there is a sense when somebody their light body is lit up, they do bring a sense of calm in a whole room, even if, even if there's an unawareness. When you have energies coming together, I mean, these two energies are having a great time. Pets are such a good example because they're always at a high vibe. So if a pet walks up to you, say you're in a grumpy mood and your pet walks up to you and he's just very humble, wagging his tail, just super happy to see you, most of the time people snap out of their bad mood and they mirror that energy. And this is how energies come together. This is how energies can bring each other up. So important to keep building one another up and not tear each other down during this time, because it is hard. It is difficult out there. There is so much confusion. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. You really don't even know what other people might be going through. They're doing a lot to the human race that I think is extremely unfair. And so many times I feel like, gosh, it feels like the deck is really stacked against us. But it's not. It's because we're on the verge of understanding who we are. And we are very powerful beings. And yes, they are intimidated of us. So the best thing to do is to keep us down and keep us after each other.
We, again, thank you guys for your support. Much love. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.